Welcome to another video. How was your weekend? How was it? Let me tell you about my weekend. It was busy, but it was amazing. I had a wedding. My husband's cousin got married, and it was amazing. It was a busy weekend because Friday we had the ceremony at the district office. I think it's district office. And after that was what all the children were allowed to come. So his children were there, his grandchildren. This is a blended family, so they came into the marriage with both their own children and even grandchildren, because they got married at an older age. So it was fun for my children to play with their cousins, and all the children were there. There were like almost 20 children, so that was so much fun. We went afterwards, we went to their home, and we had some, food, laughter, fun. It was amazing. The next day, it was the big party, meaning a full party with a cover band, a DJ. There was another artist singing, who was a Surinamese artist. And we had plenty of food, drinks, cocktail bar. Everything was amazing, and I have to tell you, I danced from 8:30 till 12, non-stop, no breaks. Even my husband's like, "Girl, sit down." I'm like, "No, this is my song," because he knows I love to dance. But he was like, "You really love to dance. I don't have the stamina to do what you do." But he danced so much with me, and he was so hot because it was almost 40 degrees here in the Netherlands, and he had a 3-piece suit on because he was the best man. So he was burning up, but he did amazing. He looked amazing. The bride looked so gorgeous. Everything was so beautiful. I was the hostess, so I was the one with all the challenges and questions and problems. Everybody came to me and I had to solve them. I had to run around, but when it was time for me to dance, I really let loose and danced all night long. We came home around 1 a.m. in the morning. The children were with my mother. That was the first time that all my children slept at my mother's place. So I was a little bit nervous, but I knew they were in good hands. I was just a little bit nervous for her, if they were not too, if it wasn't too much for her, because my mom is not the youngest anymore. But everything went great. So now it's Tuesday, so I hope you had a great story. If you feel like sharing your story with us, please do that in the comments, because I want to read. I want to know all about my club members and how their life is going and evolving, what they've been up to, because at the end of the day, we are sisters, we are friends, and we are here to get to know one another, to learn from one another, and show and share interest in one another, because it's very important to socialize, to network, because you don't know who's watching, who's listening, and who is interested in you, your life, your family. You just don't know, because my husband and I were talking about that. The party was so great. I didn't know a lot of people at the party, except for family members. But I was just myself. I was myself, just like how I am here. My husband was himself, and we were dancing, doing all the things we are used to do or used doing. And we have gotten so many compliments from people who were at the party, even our family. They were like, You guys are amazing. You are a perfect couple. I heard terms as you are a match made in heaven. because the way my husband and I are in sync with one another is, I guess it's very pleasing to the eye. It's people were amazed. We had so much fun. We were just dancing with one another, and we really, added to the life of the party. You don't know who's on a party or, an event. You just don't know. You don't know who is related to somebody or which type of friends they have or colleagues. You don't know that your present can change your life, or because you attended a event, people really like you and they call for you, or later on they are looking for you because they want to work with you or they want to offer you something just because they liked what they saw. So it's very important to always show up, always show out, be your best self, be kind, be loving, serve where you can serve people, because you don't know who is looking and who's watching. And being in the right room with the right people can really change your life. So that is for my weekend. Now I want to move on to last week, because I have given you a challenge or an exercise to do, and we couldn't make it because of the time. So this week I want to continue on. I don't want to dwell on it too long because it was something we did last week and I don't want to spend 30 minutes on it. But I've got my little booklet here. This is my notebook. This notebook, I use it to write down ideas when it comes to recipes, menus, or things I might have seen online, or a cooking show, or something that is inspiring for me to write about when it comes to food. So here is where I write everything down. So I will suggest to you that you write your recipes in a notebook so everything is together, and you can always write also down. I also have a notebook where you can, it's specifically made to write menus day to day. So that means you can always look back and like, oh yeah, on Monday I ate this, so further down the week I'm not gonna repeat chicken, or I'm not gonna repeat fish because I already did that on Monday. Or even on a monthly basis, so that you know what have we eaten and what can I add to create more variety. Or maybe you just are out of ideas, that you can always look back and, oh, I like this recipe. So I would suggest you have a notebook. So I also did the exercise because sometimes, I also get stuck. Even though I know what to cook, which recipes are easy maybe during the week, it's easier for me to write it down, really work this out, and then I can always really go through everything and just take one recipe out and call it a day. And also, what the exercise we are doing today, you can organize it by protein or by how easy the recipe is. So this is just the first exercise. Probably we're going to repeat this maybe every 3 months just to see. I think it's going to be every 3 months because seasonal produce, so you can switch it up. But let's start. For Monday, I started out with chicken, and then mostly marinated chicken, just like the one I made a few, weeks or a month ago, Smack a Lekker Chicken. I have that recipe on Substack. I promise you, ladies, I will put everything on Substack. I know I'm running behind and there's really no excuse, so I'm going to do it. I said to myself, not like 5 minutes before the meeting started, that I'm gonna do it in the summer holiday. There will be a summer holiday, it's starting in 2 weeks. So then I will have the time to write everything down, because I know the recipes, I've written it down in this book, but now I have to type it out, add pictures, upload the file, and put it on my Substack, because I want us to inspire one another. You might not make one of these recipes, and that's okay, but this might inspire you to look for recipes in your own culture that are similar, or it just can spark ideas. So sometimes you don't need to fully how do you call it? I don't want to say copy, but because sometimes people say copy, it's a bad thing. But you don't have to take this. You just be inspired and do your own thing, because you are creative. You are the CEO of your home. You know what your husband likes, you know what you like, your children like, or you know what your capabilities are, what's available to you when it comes to produce around you, your culture, your ethnicity, traditions, dietary preferences. You know what will work for your family. I'm just giving what I like and what my family likes, and I hope this will inspire you to do your own thing. So I like a smack a lekker marinated chicken, especially on a Monday when school is starting. Everybody's getting back into, the mode of school life. Husband is probably working, and sometimes the weekends are tough. Maybe you have obligations, such as my weekend was. Then Monday is easy. If I can make a marinated chicken, I can marinate it a day before and then take it out. So that makes it very easy, that I can marinate it a day before. And even if I don't marinate it a day before, I will be just fine if I start cooking at 4, and if we start eating at 6, everything will be done. So that's easy. I can go to the butcher. I can already ask them to prepare the chicken, cutting it and everything. When I come home, I just have to wash the chicken with lemon or lime, pat dry it, add the marinade. I can make the marinade beforehand, marinate the chicken, and just put it into the pan and let it cook. So that's an easy recipe for me. Also, if I don't want to do chicken, I can change that protein for beef. I can even do ground meat, because the same marinade will work for ground meat, but I can use it with macaroni, for instance. And I can add just pre-cut vegetables from the supermarket, boil some pasta macaroni, put everything together, and I have a perfect healthy meal. So these are a few of the options. I will put some images so that you can see what I'm talking about. Tuesday, I don't really cook, because most of the time I will be going to the farmer's market and I will buy me some kibbeling that is what kind of fish is it caught? I think it's caught fish. It's a white fish, and they put it in a batter and they fry it, and they have some nice sauce with that. That is what I normally eat on Tuesday during the lunch, but it's so filling that I don't really crave anything else later on. But if I were to cook, I would make fried fish, because I love fish and you need to eat fish, omega-3s, and sometimes something easy that I don't have to cut. They have salmon cubes, or not cubes, like pieces of salmon, and that's easy. I just wash them with lime, pat dry them, put some egg on it, egg wash, salt, fry it up. I have my original sauce that I made myself. I can make that beforehand, or I just can make it while I'm cooking my rice. I can do easy vegetables, something I do not have to cut or do too much for. Fry it up, I'm gonna bake it, and then I would have something really delicious, and it wouldn't take that much time. At least for me, I enjoy cooking, but it means when I say it doesn't take too much time, an hour to me is not that much time with prep and everything. But if I wouldn't do that, I could use tilapia, I can do a butterfish, or what's the other one, a snapper. So that is also something I like. So fish day on Tuesday. Wednesday is soup day. It's a nice soup. It's refreshing. It has all the healthy stock, the beef broth. I can add vegetables to it, a protein to it, and it's filling, it's hearty, and it makes you stronger. So Wednesday I would go for a nice soup. Thursday, normally Thursday, that is when I really feel like, okay, I need weekend. I'm getting tired. I notice Thursday is where I go into that little dip. Where people go Monday, they dip because they don't feel like going to work. I don't have that. Thursday is when I feel like I almost used all my energy. So Thursday would be something easy, like a stir fry. I can do salted beef with smoked chicken. I just can cut some vegetables, put everything in one pot, cook that up, have some rice on the side and some fried plantain, and I would have a delicious, easy meal, but healthy. So Thursday I will keep for my stir fries. Friday, that is where I feel alive. This is where I feel like, yes, the week is over. There comes a kind of adrenaline. What's happening? Adrenaline. Oh wow, adrenaline. Well, you know what I mean to say. I'm still tired, so bear with me. The words aren't coming out correctly, but on Friday I feel hyped up. I feel excited. I know my husband will be off. Not most of the time he won't be off, but I have something to look forward to that known after Saturday. That's most of the time Saturday is his last working day. He will be home, so Friday is really excited for me. I know I don't have to wake up 4:30. I can sleep in a bit. It's just a whole different atmosphere. So Friday, I most of the time feel like cooking. I feel like doing a lot, cooking cakes, baking cakes. I want to do a lot. So Friday, I will go for a roasted chicken in the oven with maybe some stewed beans or vegetables, noodles. Friday is a feast, so Friday I really will go all out. So Saturday probably won't be cooking. I'm trying to honor the Sabbath, meaning I want to keep Saturday to myself, not to do too much, because I already do a lot Monday to Friday. And if I also do a lot on Saturday, I have no off days, which you already do not have as a housewife, because you have children, or let me say, as a housewife who has children, Saturday are at home. They might also go places, they want to go other places, so it's very active on Saturday. So I don't like to do too much on Saturday, because Sunday most of the time is preparations for Monday. So Saturday I do not cook. Sometimes it happens that I do have to cook. Maybe, sometimes things happen, or the food was enough, or we having people over. Most of the time I do not cook. Sunday I would cook something easy, because Sunday most of the time I'm preparing for Monday. I have to do the girls their hair. Maybe I still have to iron clothes. There's a lot going on Sunday in my household. So Sunday I would keep it easy, a fried rice, vegetarian probably, or maybe just with egg in it. Just have some peanut sauce on the side, and maybe some lumpias, just easy things that I have in the freezer or in the fridge. So that is how my weekly menu, how it looks like. In time, I will elaborate more on it. I will share more recipes that I have on it so that you can be inspired, because all of this is just inspire one another. We need each other. I need you. At least for me, I need you. I need to be inspired. I need that girl time. So I really think this will help other housewives, even if you want to do something different. Sometimes you just want to cook something outside of the box. You want to try new things, or you're not satisfied with the recipe you have and you want to try the same dish but just a different recipe to see if that will work better for you and your family. So these are my weekdays, or weekly menus or recipe ideas. So now I can just pull, Monday is chicken, I can do marinade chicken, I can do stewed chicken with chicken masala. I can just pull from there. So I already know what type of groceries I'm going to have to buy. My children also can think, or my husband will be like, I can ask them, which option do you like better? You want chicken masala, or you want stewed beef, or marinated smack-a-lekker, smack-a-lekker marinated chicken. Just tell me what you want and I can just pull from there. So if you want to ask something about this exercise, this subject, please do so in the comments. And now I'm going into another agenda point, because a few days ago, I don't know what I was doing, but something came to mind. And I put the notes into my phone about you will be judged. And it was something about working women and their introduction. Let me just say, working women, their introductions, what did you study? Or what is your career path? And they have all these things to share with the person who is asking the questions. And people will be impressed by, wow, you went to university or college. Oh, you have this career, you work for this company, or you have this position within the company. And that's all they want to know or need to know, and they already have a image of that person, and they will have the person up here in high regards, because that person just said, I work at this company, I've been working here for years. And people start fantasizing and creating their own ideas around this person, how great they are and how well established they are. And the rest really does not matter. It doesn't matter if their house is unkept. It doesn't matter if the children are a bit unkept, because this person is doing a great job and they have an amazing career. So people will not judge them the same as we housewives. And we're gonna keep it between us, meaning like, this is not to point any fingers. I just want to tell you, my mic was all the way up down there, so I hope you heard what I was saying, because my mic was down there when I was answering the door. So excuse me for that. But I was saying we will be just judged differently, because we don't have a career or anything to show or to flash with or to mask with or to capture or almost blind people with, because these things, these accolades are blinding. When somebody tells you I've won an Oscar, a Emmy, or a Grammy, you just think this person is amazing because you don't know who you are talking to. You might be talking to somebody who, you know, doesn't know people who have these accolades or sees themselves as less valuable, and they hear these things and they just have an image of like almost a goddess. I know I was like that when I heard somebody was attending a university. I really thought that person is so smart. I can never be this smart. This person is so amazing. They know everything. But when you do not have these things to flash with, because we are housewives, things change. Which is not a bad thing, but just be aware that things change. Because now it becomes, oh, you are a housewife. Now you will be judged on how you keep your home, how your children look, how they will behave. Because people feel like, okay, you're not having a job, so you don't have an excuse. You are with your children or at home 24/7. So if your house is not neat, or it's not almost the standard of perfection, what are you doing all day? You're just sitting down, being lazy, eating all day. People will judge you differently, and I love it. I love when people judge me on my work. I've seen it during the wedding when people comment me on, wow, your children are gorgeous, and their dresses or his suit, the hair. I'm like, I did my job well. People notice that I have put a lot of effort in. Where the moms that were the moms that are working and have less time, the children reflect that the parents have less time. Even though it's not an excuse, because even though you are a working mom, there are ways that you can attend to your children to make sure their hair is done. Even if you don't want to pay somebody, you can just put it in a bun, but make sure you put that effort in and put that extra in so that your children feel confident. Because I know when I was growing up, I didn't feel really confident when it came to my hair, because my mom was a working mom. She did not have the time to do my hair every week or every day or whatever I wanted, because I had ideas. I was very creative, and I always wanted something new with my hair. I wanted to look good because it made me feel good. I would get compliments, and I love that. People notice you, so you love it when people see, wow, your hair, oh wow, you look so gorgeous, and these beats. So when it comes to my children, I do not play. I do their hair, even though it takes 5 hours ahead. I will do their hair, but because I have the time, also because I have the creative outlet to do so. So when it came to the wedding, I really felt accomplished as a housewife, because people noticed my effort. I don't think they understand the effort, but they see it and they ask like, this must have taken a lot of time. I'm like, yes, it has taken a lot of time, and it's taken a lot of time management to make sure that I have proper time to take care of their hair. Meanwhile, I have a lot of other stuff to do. It's not like I do not have other stuff to do, but I had to sacrifice or had to plan differently so that I can reach all my goals. When it came to the clothing for the children, it didn't happen like this. I had to, at least, I knew where I would buy the dresses, because I have my address where I buy the girls their Christmas dresses, their Christmas dinner for school dresses. I have my little place. So I knew I have to head over, go there, see what they have, take pictures, bring it back to the girls so that they can make their own decisions on what they want to wear. But it still needs to be done. So it took almost 2 weeks, the whole process from going there, looking for the dresses, taking the pictures, bringing it back home, seeing what the children want, finding the right shoes for it, because that store doesn't sell shoes, so I have to go separately to find pink shoes that will go with the pink dress. Then I had to do their hair. I knew I wanted beads, so now I had to find beads that will match the dress, meaning pinks, whites, pearls. I need to find these things. These things don't enter my home just like that. So it took time. Then I had to find a suit for my son. I knew it would be hot. Initially, I wanted him to really have a tuxedo on. When I saw that it would be very hot, I thought the tuxedo will not be a good idea because I don't want him to be uncomfortable. So I had to look for suits for boys. The place where I buy the dresses for the girls is the same place where they also sell tux for boys. But the lady who owns the store, she didn't have like summer tuxedos for boys. So I had to go into the city, look for these things. I don't really go into the city very often, so I really had to search, go store in, go store out to look for options, because most popular retailers, they don't do suits. It's not popular to do suits for boys. So where do you buy these things? Everything nowadays is baggy. It's, jeans, denim. So it takes time. I figured it out. Then I had to do my baby girl. Thank God I could buy a dress in the same place where I bought dresses for the girls. Now I have to do stuff for myself because I did not have a dress, and I had a dress in mind, but it didn't match the color scheme or theme that they had for the wedding. Then I had to find myself shoes I can dance with, because I love to dance. So I already know I have to buy something that will make me feel comfortable, where I can dance on. Also, I have my own style. I want to be true and authentic to myself. I don't want to chase trends and do things that people are doing just because it's trendy, but also I want to stand out. So there are a lot of things I had to battle, and I can really understand that if you are working, that these things are not a priority to you because you don't have the time, and you're just happy that you can go somewhere and just take something off the shelves, put it on yourself, put it on your children, and you're good to go. But I know that I will be judged differently because I am a housewife. People expect from a housewife to put more effort in than somebody who is working, because they have an excuse. That's why I won't be the one complaining to other women, especially working women or moms or wives, that life is so tough or whatever. I have so much tasks to do, because I don't expect them to respond in a way that I want them to respond, because they're like, so what do I have to say, because I'm working? That is how they're going to respond. You're complaining, but you're at home. So what do I have to say? I have to work 5 days a week or 3 days a week. I also have to do the dishes. I have to do the laundry, because a lot of working women and moms, they're like, my boyfriend or husband isn't doing anything at home. I have to do everything. Or let me just say, they have to do everything. They cook, they clean, They bring the children to school. They do the play dates, so they have a lot on their plate, and they have to work. I also have a lot on my plate, but I don't have a job. So my complaints will not land positively with them, because they are like, yes, but I have to do more. That is what they will respond. And I understand, because it is a lot to work and still do all the things that need to be done. That's why I want to really tell you, be grateful to your husband or to yourself that you allowed yourself to choose for yourself that you wanted to become a housewife, and you have found a husband that honors your wish. Okay, it could be the other way around. Maybe you have a husband who tells you to stay at home. It is all possible. And at first maybe you were like, no, but now you appreciate it. That also can be true. But just be grateful that you have a husband that takes care of you, so that you don't have to work a job and do all the other things that still need to be done. So I am grateful, and I really always put a smile on my face. Be happy, be grateful to God that I'm in this position, that I have this life. And it's not easy, because sometimes I'm like, I'm just so tired. But that is where I come here to you, we as housewives, because we understand that we are also tired. We also have a lot to juggle. It's not easy to be us. People who don't understand think it's easy. There is a higher standard, and we will be judged by it, because we don't have a career or diplomas that talk for us. Once you say you are a housewife, people take you down here. They just take you down here, because that is how it's always been. Being a housewife back in the day meant you were not good at school, you couldn't learn, you were lazy, you got pregnant early, or you got married real early. People don't celebrate being a housewife because there's a stigma that is attached to it. So never think that you will go into the world and people will celebrate you. You have to celebrate yourself. I hope and I pray that your husband appreciates you, honors you, because that's an added bonus. Because you are doing it together. This is your marriage and you have to do it together. So it would be none other than normal that your husband appreciates what you're doing. But even in this world, there are husbands, men that do not appreciate the work of a housewife because they do not understand. A lot of men do not understand what it means to be a housewife. They don't understand when they come home and the house is clean and the food is cooked, that somebody is their wife, took their time, took their effort to do that. And I think if somebody who is not an adult doesn't understand that, only a boy will not understand the efforts that their wife are putting into the home. Because if you think about food that is cooked, you have to think about the groceries. You have to think about somebody took their time to think about this stuff. Think about, what am I going to cook? How am I going to execute this dish? What do I need for this dish? How much time is it going to take to prepare this dish? What is the preparation for the dish? Prepare the dish. Cook the dish. Think about how you're going to plate the dish. Which serveware you are going to use so that it looks appealing, appetizing at the same time. It's all effort. When a room is clean, it doesn't clean itself. It's effort. When the clothes are washed, it's effort. When the clothes are ironed, it's effort. It's you are doing it. It's not a machine. Of course, we have machines to help us, to support us, but at the end of the day, it's a machine. We have to do the rest. And I'm so grateful that I was not born in the 50s where there weren't a lot of machines or people couldn't afford or whatever the case may be. I cannot imagine making cake by hand because there's not a mixer or grating. You know, my husband was grating the ginger for the beverage that I had to make. I told you about that last week. I had to make a beverage for the wedding. It's a traditional Surinamese beverage. It's ginger grated. It is ginger steeped in water with sugar and all kinds of spices and herbs. It's amazing. But we were discussing, are we gonna grate it or are we going to put it in the blender? Because normally I put it in the blender, especially when I have a lot of it, you know, amounts. I had to make 70 liters. 70. But he was like, no, I want to grate it because I feel that if I grate it, the essence of the extract of the ginger would be stronger. Let me tell you that my husband, we received the ginger by the end of May. He finished last week because it was so much effort. Our hands, I grated one batch. My hands were so, I mean, the spice and the way you hold the ginger while grating, it just, something happened to my finger. It's so much effort. You cut your finger on the grate because the grate that I have is traditional Surinamese grater. It's very sharp. And it took so much time. When I put it in the blender, because later on I got another batch because the ginger wasn't strong enough. And I put 1.5 kilo of ginger into the blender. It was done like this. Within 15 minutes I was done grating 1.5 kilos. So even though you have a machine, it takes time. But can you imagine not having machines and doing these types of things? Washing clothes by hand. When I was living in Suriname and we were living in the jungle while building our home over there, I didn't have a washing machine. I had to wash all the clothes by the riverside. Yes, it takes a lot of time. It took me all day. So imagine if we didn't have these tools, how long something would take. So now we have to be grateful that they make machines and they make it more easy every single day. Now you don't even have to, how you want to call it, vacuum or hoover. You have the one that does its own thing. Even mowing the lawn, you have electric ones, or is it AI ones that just do their own thing, those robots. So I'm just grateful for the life that I have. That doesn't mean it's easy. It also means you take more on your plate. Because I can imagine if you don't have these tools, you know what your maximum capacity is. Now that I know that I have tools, I just add to my plate. I add to my plate because I know, okay, I can put this in the washing machine. While I wash these things, I wash the dishes. While I wash the dishes, I can also do, you know, I'm multitasking more because I know I can do more. But still, it's a lot of work. So now for me, it's really to take pride, not to shy away from, oh, I will be judged by how my home looks. I really take pride in that part, and I really want to make my house to a beautiful home instead of being like, eh. Because sometimes I forget I will be judged by these things. I will be judged by how my garden looks. Somebody who's working and has other things going on for themselves and they park their car and they have a beautiful car in front of the home, nobody really cares. They only care about what they see. If they see you riding around in a beautiful car or they see you entering a beautiful building every day for your job. They just already assume that you have an awesome life, you are amazing, you are the best. When you do not have a job, or yet you don't have things to show for within the world, you'll be judged by how does her home look, how does she look, how do the children look. The children are a bit scuffy. So I love it. I think you should embrace it, because that is also where your power lays, because it's just beautiful when you see everything coming together, because it's a project. This wedding was a project for me, and I really had to start preparing ahead of time. And when everything came out perfectly, I was like, I'm so proud of myself. We were on time at the wedding. We were before the bride and the groom, and we had to go to the district office. And I saw them driving past me, because we were at the wedding and I thought I was late, because they said 9:30 and we arrived there 9:35. We arrived there and I was like, oh, I forgot my camera. Let me go back to the car. I walked back to the car and I saw the bride and the groom, and I was like, did the wedding already pass? Are we late? Are they leaving? My face was like, and they saw me, they started laughing. So I went inside. I'm like, babe, I saw them. I saw the bride and the groom. Are we late? He was like, no, the wedding starts at 10. I'm like, whew, I made it. We made it with 4 children. They don't have children. The bride and groom did not have children. A lot of people don't have a lot of children. They maybe had 2, maybe 3. We have 4. They are all living in the area. We had to come from elsewhere, and we were on time, and we were best dressed. Not to be like, oh, they were not, but we really took our time. We made effort, because it's a wedding, or it's a wedding ceremony, so that means there is a dress code, right? But when it comes to the younger generation, let's for instance say their children, they just took it like, okay, my parents are getting married, whatever. Some that had a jean skirt, denim skirt with Hermes slippers, the Orient slippers. I was like, you cannot wear Orient slippers with a denim skirt to a wedding, right? But it's just, my husband and I are more old school, because my parents are from the 50s. My husband was born in the 70s, but his parents are from the 30s and even, early 40s. So we come from that era where we know there's a dress code, and you should wear a suit and tie. You should be neat. You need nice shoes. Everything needs to be clean. But this new generation, which are the Gen Z, they just do things totally different. I saw shorts. One of the guys had on shorts, more like a lounge set short. Was very casual with even Hermes slippers. I was like, the hair wasn't done. They didn't have, the women didn't even wear really makeup. But the sisters of the bride, they were, they're from, like I said, the 70s or even 60s maybe. They had, 60s. They had their makeup done, their hair done, they had beautiful dresses on, they were wearing heels. I'm like, yes, they did their nails. That is how I would assume that you would be dressed like at a wedding. But what I want to say, that you will be judged. So, sister, you will be judged. Tell it to yourself. You will be judged. So every time you think, I don't have to put the effort in, put it in. Put that extra effort in. Even I'm working on to put in more effort. When I bake a cake, make sure you decorate it. Even though you think, who's gonna notice? Does it matter? Yes. To us housewives, it should matter. You should be the exception to the rule. You should strive to be your best. You should strive to make an effort to make sure you beautify things because you have the time. Because if we all feel like we're just gonna pull back, I don't have to do it because nobody's going to notice, nobody cares. I know my friends are working, moms or whatever, they are not gonna put the effort in, so why should I? It just brings down the I don't want to say the morale, but basically it brings the standard from here to here, because that is why I said I need this group, because I feel like if I don't have this group of housewives, why do I need to do it? I do it for myself, but I can also be a backslider. I can also be like, yeah, I know the people in school ain't gonna do anything, so why should I do it? Why should I put on makeup? Because I don't know anybody gonna do it at school. But when I'm being confronted with somebody that does it and I didn't do it, I'm gonna be like, see, I should have did my best. I should put in that extra. So that's why it's very important to me to surround myself with the right people that keep me, sharp, that sharpen me. Iron sharpens iron. I need that. I need that for my soul, because it brings out the best in me. Because you are the CEO of your home. It's you. And it's not good to compare. And this is not about comparisons. It's about what is in you. What do you have in you? Which type of skills, talents, creativity. But if it's not being challenged, because there are no challenges at home, you don't have to put the effort in, you just cook the food and put it on a plate and everybody's happy, you never can develop yourself in a way that you can rise above who you are and grow. And maybe you look up to Martha Stewart, but maybe you are equally great as a Martha, or even greater because you have more creativity or you execute things differently. She set a standard, but that doesn't mean the standard cannot be met or beat. It can be beaten. And not because you want to, just because you're doing your own thing and people like what you're doing and you are enjoying what you are doing and creating. And that will just keep you busy. And as you're doing it every day, you get better and better and better. And before you know, you're like, wow, I started here and look where I am now. So you will be judged, and that's okay. Make sure when they judge you that it will be judged based on, it was great. How you did that, how you executed, it was great. Because judgment is only not nice when it will be negative. It's beautiful when people come into your home. Is so gorgeous. It's also being judged, but it feels good. It's an acknowledgement of your work, of your vision, of your creativity, your strength, because people don't know what you have to put in to get the work done. We see people who have success, but we do not know what they did to get the work done, because it's work. So I do not envy people, because I know everybody who is successful has to put in work. And you have to think or talk to yourself, am I willing to put in that amount of time to get the work done? Because it's time. It's time. The more you practice, the better you get at it. That's why I cook every day. That's why I do the girls their hair, because I want to get better. I want to improve. I want to be the best to my ability, not to the world, but for me, so that I can walk around and be proud of what I have accomplished. So also for myself, I will be focusing on cleaning my home, decorating my home, make it into a home, because it shows appreciation. Because that is something that I am missing nowadays. People don't appreciate it. People are also always chasing new things, excitement, but you don't see gratitude. And that's what I love about, the old school people. They were so grateful with their cars. They washed their cars every week. They catered to their homes. They catered to food. All the things we see that we celebrate that are beautiful is because they were grateful. They took their time. Even now with eating cookies, people appreciated the fact that they had cookies to eat, because it didn't come so easy. You couldn't go into the store and buy cookies. You have to prepare them yourself. And when you are a baker or somebody who cooks, you know how much time it takes to bake or cook something. And that's when you appreciate it more. That's why afternoon tea is so necessary for me, because that is where I can take it all in and enjoy my cookies. Because the cookies, you don't get them in 10 minutes. You have to do it, you have to prepare it, you have to bake it in the oven, cool it down, and that's when you enjoy it. So it's a totally different experience. It's about gratitude. So I know for myself that at the time when I got this home, of course I was grateful. I got my own home. Even though it's a rental, I had somewhere to stay, because I was staying with my mom, because we sold our house in Amsterdam, moved to Suriname, built a home, came back to Holland. We didn't have a place to stay, so we had to stay at my mom's house with 2 children and my husband. Got pregnant with my 3rd child, so we needed our own place, and finally we found our own place. But then we have to, instead of putting all the money into the home, it's not our own home, it's a rental, let's put it into the business, let's write a book, let's print the book, let's do everything we can to make sure the book is successful. Meanwhile, our house wasn't what it can be. Our plan didn't take off in the way we wanted to, so now we were left with a home that was not beautiful. And my husband had to go back to work because he quitted his job, just because we were chasing our business. We wanted to invest in our business and make it great. It didn't work out. And in that process, you start being ungrateful, because you see all the things that are not beautiful. Things, you see the rawness of it. So now you become like, I don't like this house. I don't want to film here. I don't want to do this here. I don't want to make cooking videos. Because instead of being like, okay, I'm grateful because there are a lot of people who want a house, but they cannot have it because it's expensive, or they didn't have enough years with the corporation, so they cannot get a home easily. They would want to be in our position. So let's be grateful instead of being ungrateful. And that's when God will take stuff away from you, and He will not give you more, because you are complaining. So it's like, I want to be grateful. I'm grateful with my home, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna put everything I have into the home and make it beautiful. It's also a way for me to practice for when we do get our dream home and buy our dream home, that I already have the experience of how to decorate, which style I like, which things would work for us as a family. So I really take this as a practice home, just experiment with colors, do things that are a little bit out of the box, because it's not our home. We can experiment here and there. So it's all about being grateful. Be grateful for your husband. I don't care if he's making 6 figures, 7 figures, or he's just making 30 or 50,000 a year, because he makes it possible for you to stay at home and be yourself, to experiment, to create, to make the best out of your life. So that is where I want to leave it at, with gratitude. I'm grateful that you are here. I'm grateful that you want to be part of our club. I am so grateful. You don't know, you don't understand how excited I am for the future. I'm in the present. I'm here. And I know I'm here, but I'm also looking forward because I see the potential. I see where we can go. I see the conversations we can have, and really be honest and open with one another and share our experiences and be vulnerable. Like I said, I know I cannot complain to a working mom. It's gonna look so weird, but I know I can share my load with you and you will understand, because we are going through almost the same experiences. Because being a housewife is a housewife. Sometimes you get overwhelmed. Sometimes you just, fail, you backslide, and you need your sisters to build you back up. So that's why we are here, and it's free. And that's why I always say, the best things in life are free. The best things in life are free. So give me something money cannot buy, because this what we share here, money cannot buy. So give me a like and a subscribe. And you don't do it for me, you do it for yourself, because it opens up the opportunity to talk to other housewives. This is not for me. Of course, I started this because this is what I need, but you like and subscribe for you because you want the group to grow, so that we can have more housewives here. That means more experiences, more lovely ladies to talk to build with, so that we can one day meet each other in real life and have events and talk and support and build, empower one another, have seminars, have people on the channel. I was thinking about, having a Marjorie Harvey on the channel, because I assume she's a housewife. I think the world assumes that she is a housewife. I don't know, but I hope she is, because I want her here on the channel to talk about how is it to be with somebody who is a high profile person, or a high earner, or a public person. So what do you do all day? How does your housewife's experience look like? What is acquired from you? What is expected from you? How do you, I want to have so many questions. How do you wake up every morning? What do you do to stay sane? What is expected for you in that sense? How do you carry yourself outside, because your husband is a public figure, so you might not do the things that we as other housewives, which our husbands are not in a public figure, we don't have to deal with. So I am really curious. I'm checking my mic. I hope the mic is okay. I'm really curious about how does she do it. How do you deal with the judgment for other people, thinking that you are just a gold digger and you only splurge and you take your husband's money, and you don't do anything else? But also, how is it to be loved by her husband, because he really loves her, he credits her all the time. He always says, I cannot do it without Marjorie. Marjorie is really a pillar, and she's the one that talks to me and tells me that I can do this, and gives me, hope and belief, and motivates me, and has a vision, sees things for myself that I really do not see for myself. They really embody, like, he who finds a wife has found a good thing. So I really would love to talk to a Marjorie Harvey, instead of all the negative things that people speak over her. I just want to talk to her as she's a bigger sister, to share with us how she does it all. And I think that she would be a great addition to the Housewife Club. So let me know what you think about it, and how we are going to make that happen, because I want to make it happen. I want to have that conversation. I want to, add her knowledge within our group, so that we can, be better, and, have some, really some she can give us some wings, knowing that we are doing a great job, and if we push our husband or give him the right advice, we can really change our lives and be into another position if God has planned that for us. So maybe you know Marjorie, maybe you know Steve, maybe you know family members or people who work with them. Like, there's a lady on the internet and she has started a club just with housewives, and they would love to talk to you. Put it into the comments. Let's make it happen. Like I said, I cannot do it by myself. I have one team member, but if we need more, because I have so much more ideas, and I'm going to share them with you, over time, because I really enjoy having girls around me. And of course I want to do more with wellness and self-care, because we need to take care of ourselves. I'm telling you, my week was very full, and without the wedding even, it's already a lot. So I really need to take care of myself, meaning having a nice home where it's tranquil, where it feels beautiful, calm, peaceful, but also practical, where I have beautiful sheets, because I've heard about the sheets that Jackie O was using into the White House. I will invest in these sheets because I already sleep good, but I want to sleep better and feel better. I saw Kathy Hilton talking about sheets that Kris Jenner was using in her house, and she said, I never slept so well. These are the things that you as a housewife need, because you work really hard. I don't know how you call it in English. In Dutch you say CAO. We really need to have a great work environment, and things need to be up to par, because it's not any different from an office where they have requirements, how the desktops are, how the height of the seat is, when it comes to the things the tasks that you have to do. There need to be rules and regulations so that you don't hurt yourself or inconvenience yourself, where you can no longer practice your job or your task. So it's very important that you have a home that is practical. It works in your favor. Maybe one day we can interview an interior designer who has experience with housewives that work a lot around the home, things that we should add into our home that are practical to us. Give me more ideas, give me suggestions, give me ideas. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and especially share it with other housewives that you know of. Share the link. Tell them, hey, we need you in the group, we need your expertise. Or maybe your husband is connected to somebody that can be useful for this club. Tell, and we will make it happen, because that is what we housewives do. We push ourselves, we support one another, and we are going to make it happen. We are we are not different from other women that work. We have a lot of potential, we have strength, we have energy, we have belief, we have a good spirit, and we also can be and will be productive for our society, our community. So let's do it together. I'm gonna round this up. Make sure you go onto my substack. Don't forget the exercise. Also, before we go, exercise for next week. Still have inspirational woman. Your inspirational women. I already told mine last week. That were my mom, who was not a housewife but a working mom, but still she inspired me. But now I'm gonna specifically go into, if you know a housewife that might be a known person, let's talk about, we should not forget the women that came before me, because they make it all possible. They made it all possible. They were influential, and we should honor these women, because without these women we couldn't do what we are doing right now. So it's very important to be grateful, to honor them, and I hope we can speak to one of these or more of these women and really give us something that we can take home and think about and just be better as housewives. For now, I will see you on Thursday. I love you. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your family. Work hard. Do your best. Strive for the best. Make an effort. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. I love you.